Hello, everybody! Welcome to Knights of Prospect, the live Dungeon World actual play. Our cameras are rolling. Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in here on the lovely 2MB Studios, which has amazing shows every day of the week. We are the super cool role-playing show. We play Dungeon World. We roll some dice. We play some characters. We fight some monsters. We learn a little bit about ourselves. My name's Sam Hoare, and I play Chauncey. I'm a very young boy wizard with great aspirations. I once spoke to some sort of death-like eternal being, and then I came back, and that was fun. Let's all introduce ourselves.
I'm Winnie. My name is Samantha Levangi, another Sam. And Winnie is a bard who believes in the deepest part of her heart that songs can solve any problem, and has also gained her gift through unquestionably nefarious means. But she really does have a heart of gold.
Very nice.
Hi, I'm Rob Mulligan. I play the character Ronaldo Francis Mackay IV. He's a foppish noble, also a bard, who is currently in a battle of stubbornness with his potentially, but definitely evil father. Now it's been vague. It's been pretty much just confirmed at this point. And he is just stubbornly trying to be a thorn in his side as much as possible, as often as possible, with mixed results.
Hey everybody, I'm Sumit. I play Raspberry Snowberry, a cleric slash priest. My soul was recently captured in the Soul Stone and has since been released, and I'm enjoying being alive again. My best friend my best friend's soul was also released back in the world. Levin, who's not here today, but so we've had some adventures, and in the last show we discovered a shiny new golem. We don't know how big it is. We don't know exactly where it is, but it's out there somewhere.
Yeah,
and I'm the game master. My name is John. I will be playing the game master, and my job, as always, is to give these prospective Knights of Prospect golems to find, fathers to get into epic rivalries with, and magic fairs to win, and death to overcome. So that's what I do, and darn it, I just love it. So yeah, last week was a really interesting one. You kind of have this new, relationship with this powerful wizard named Archmage Akka, who wants you all to view him as a friend is a strong word, but as a resource maybe.
Yeah, and I don't trust that. Literally, so this is where I met Akka, everyone. I met that that death thing that I talked to while speaking to it in its void. It formed out of an evil book. And that's where I first met Archmage Akka. So, he's probably the worst.
I definitely finds it interesting that Chauncey has a lot of pride in his magic, but also is very quick to discard the things he creates. like to distrust the things that the fact that he won't necessarily are his fault. The fact that he very, very easily drops the responsibility of his magics is a.
I mean, he's a child. You all let him do this.
Yeah, you're supposed to be providing sage advice and role model-y leadership to this young and obscenely powerful wizard.
Yeah, no one but you all can be blamed for what Chauncey does. At least alone me.
But yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. Like the thing is, you're all in your own way, kind of developing these kind of grand journeys. Like Winnie, you're working on this like opus musical piece that, when completed, would be probably, hopefully, enough to get you all admitted into the Knights of Prospect. And Ronaldo, you're building this incredibly complicated relationship with your family and power. Raz, you have survived death. And so, like, you're a spiritual leader that has survived death. And Chauncey, you can grow to 300 feet tall, and you have a very complicated relationship with the current Archmage, the former Archmage, your brother, the school you go to.
Authority in general, I would say.
Authority in general, sure.
And in our defense, as Chauncey babysitters, he did become huge, and I did try and climb him to rein him in before he died. But he didn't die. I almost did. It's fine.
Such are the webs we weave.
It's fine.
So speaking of weaving webs, I think we should get started here. All of you are asleep, with the exception of Winnie. Winnie, you kind of stir first. You're in a hammock. It's gently swaying back and forth. You look to your left and see Ronaldo and Chauncey also in hammock.
Cupcakes.
Hammocks.
Above you is another hammock, and you can't see who's in that one, but he's talking in his sleep, and it is something about Enteresh. So you have a good idea of who it is.
Ronaldo.
Wow, Enteresh. Oh, yes, sure. I could do that for you. I would be more than happy to.
Yeah, the ease of the relationship between Raz and his god is unnerving. It's like he's in dialogue with Enteresh all the time, which serves as a great boon most of the time. The issue, though, Winnie, is you, and probably by extension everybody else, don't know where you are. It's a small room. There's 4 hammocks in it, like 2 hammocks. In the middle of the room, against one of the walls, is a essentially kind of a trunk full of your stuff. And there is one small door in. The whole room is probably no more than like 7 or 8 feet across. And there's a little door on the side of it.
There's no window?
No.
Okay. I don't wake anyone up yet. I would like to slowly come out of my hammock.
Mm-hmm.
Fireball.
Hammocks.
And I'd like to... There's a door.
There is.
I'd like to go up to the door and just open it a crack.
The door is locked.
Why are we here?
I would like
Why
to...
did I come back?
His eyes.
I'd like to find something small and pointy and try my hand at lock picking for the first time in my life.
Absolutely. There's plenty of stuff in like your chest of things. I believe the instrument Ronaldo plays, I think, is a
mandolin.
It's a mandolin. So you're able to you can get a length of string from it, like hard mandolin string. And between that and like a little piece of metal or something that you kind of rip off a jacket, you can try your hand at lock picking here. I'm going to say this is a dexterity roll -2 because you've never done this before.
Yeah, I'm tall.
8 plus 1 -2 is 7.
Well, first time's a charm. Just like your ability to commune with fish, having never tried that before, you also have some success with locks. You kind of work the thing in, and you've seen Jelly do this a million times, and you give it a shot.
I learned through watching. I'm a great observer of doing.
Indeed, which certainly informs both your music and your ability to get out of locked rooms. So that's a partial success, meaning you do indeed open the door, but you kind of make enough noise that the person outside who is sleeping in a chair kind of stirs.
I close the door. Back again. I far more quietly, now that the door is unlocked, open the door.
Yeah, give it a couple of minutes. And yeah, you get out into a hallway. There's a woman kind of wearing work clothes, wearing a cutlass on her hip, sleeping in a chair. You hear the sound of stuff above you, like the floor above you. It sounds like people are moving around and doing stuff. And there's light coming down from one of the hallways here.
Kitty.
I close the door again.
Kitty cat.
I love cats.
No, it's kitty.
Kitty cats.
I will now attempt to wake up my companions, starting with Raz.
Yeah, Raz, you stir when Winnie stirs you.
Raz.
Enteresh?
Yes, I need you to do something. It's Enteresh.
Well, yes, okay, sure. I would be more than happy to.
Okay, when you wake up, Winnie's going to ask you to help her, and you need to do that, okay?
Anything for you,
Oh,
Enteresh.
Of course. All right, wake up in 3, 2, 1. I slap him across the face.
Ow! Oh. Winnie, was that you?
What was me?
That slap.
I didn't slap you.
You didn't? Oh, I could have sworn. Whew, I was having quite a dream.
Do you know where we are?
Do I know where we are? Doesn't look like we're in my church, which is where I went to sleep.
Yeah, I went to sleep in my own home, in my own bed, and now we're here in this room. I picked the lock already. I looked out. Our room is being guarded by a woman with a cutlass.
A cutlass?
Cutlass? Sorry.
Cutlass.
Cutlass.
By a cutlass.
Cutlass.
But I bet her nickname, because she's so good with the cutlass, is Cutlass.
Wow. Do you recognize this lady?
No, I didn't get a great look at her, but I don't think I know who she is.
Can I have a look? Let's go sneak around a little bit.
Yeah, there's a woman wearing good, heavy utilitarian clothes, curved sword on her hip. There's no one else in this hallway. There are a couple other doors leading to rooms. Kind of in one direction. Actually, at this point, yeah, there's kind of light from both ends of the hallway. Like they open up to the outside.
And the cutlass lady is asleep.
Stone cold asleep.
What do you say we try to sneak by her?
I was thinking the same thing. Do you think we should let Ronaldo and Chauncey sleep? Because they'd be a liability to our sneaking efforts?
Wait, Ronaldo and Chauncey are here?
Yeah, they were sleeping right above us in the hammocks.
No, super big
I
fire.
woke you up because I trusted you the most to stay quiet.
I love loud noises.
Beep, beep.
Beep.
I closed the door.
Let's me and you sneak down the hall and see how far we can get.
Okay.
I hate being abandoned.
I'm so lonely.
Such...
I'll take 2 milks, please.
Kitties. Hello.
So you walk down to the end of one of the halls, and the light is coming. The light is coming through like a grating in the ceiling, like a little, kind of maybe 2 foot, maybe 2 foot by 3 foot kind of square grating. It's like a metal, almost like a sewer cover or something.
You want me to boost you up?
Yeah. I climb on his shoulders, or on your feet, however you want to hoist me.
Yeah, and this thing is heavy, but you are a, strong, durable elf in the prime of life. And so, yeah, you push the grating up, it goes up. And what you see, Winnie, is the deck of a ship full of sailors and ropes and sails and people giving orders and beautiful blue sky.
We're on a boat.
Oh my God! We've been kidnapped.
How? How did this? Why did this?
Okay, we should wake up Chauncey and Ronaldo.
Okay.
We might need to force ourselves off this boat.
Okay. Are you a good swimmer?
I am a great swimmer.
So am I.
I grew up in the Riverlands. Levin and I are the River Brothers.
River Bros.
Okay, great. Let's
go back.
We'll go wake them up.
Greetings, Applefish. How many dollars for your wares?
I creep up to Ronaldo first. Psst, Ronaldo.
Psst,
it's
what?
your dad.
Okay.
Your dad wants you to take over for him again.
You can flip off you but
I shake him actually awake.
ah!
I go over to Chauncey. Hey, Chauncey!
Where are we?
There's a knock on the door.
We would open it, but the door is locked.
We're not
Oh,
decent.
I can unlock the door, guys.
Yeah. The door opens, and that groggy-looking woman with a sword opens it and looks at all of you. Well, looks like you're all awake. Come with me. I'll get the captain.
Okay. I'm just gonna take a sip of this water.
Excuse me.
Water.
Yeah.
Before you go, what is your name?
Someone name her. What's her name?
She goes by Cutlass.
Cutlass.
Well, I haven't gone by my given name in many years. People around here call me Cutlass.
Know it.
That's pretty on the nose.
That's very much your sword that you have.
That it is.
Pretty cool.
Do you have like a brother named Spear?
I don't like talking about my brother.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean. I was just trying to make a playful jab. Look, I just woke up.
I get that. Yeah.
Before you go, why and how are we here?
You should probably hear it from the captain. Come with me. I was just told to guard you.
Okay.
Yeah, and you are led up on deck. You are on a ship. You are on a ship with masts and sails. There are sailors all over the place.
How did we get on a ship?
And there's no land anywhere from horizon to horizon. Fore and aft, stem to stern, port and starboard. Endless lapping waves in every direction.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
Why?
So, the captain, I want one of you to name him or her, and I want the other three to just kind of give a first description.
Okay, the captain's name is Odell.
This captain has just really wild hair and a just unkempt beard that's just massive. Just all sorts of salt water and oils like keep it kind of in this crazy formation.
It is
like a real
purposefully
wild.
wild.
Yeah.
It is not accidentally wild.
Oh man, and that's the biggest hat I've ever seen. It's like it comes out this way and it goes up like a triangle, but on your head. It's huge. It's as blue as the ocean, and it's about as dirty as the beard.
And Odal is shirtless as he's on the wheel. He has a cool necklace, though. It's made of fish bones, so you can tell, like, he's killed a lot of fish.
Yeah. A lot of fish.
It's pretty badass.
There's so many bones on there.
So good at killing.
So many fish bones.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're led up to Captain Odal. So you walk to the back of the ship where the wheel is, and yeah, there's Captain Odal. Not an immense man, but kind of probably bigger because of his station. Shirtless, fishbone necklace, giant hat. Kind of hand on the wheel with the steady confidence of someone that's been at sea his whole life. And he looks at all of you. Ah, you're all awake. Good afternoon.
Good morning, Captain.
Good afternoon, Captain.
Mm-hmm.
I make a illusion a hat about his size on my head as well.
Yeah, proportionally, this thing looks like a dining room table. But he looks at you and nods. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Now, he kind of draws from the pocket of his pants. All right. Well, one of you is Chauncey, one of you is Winnie, one of you is Raz, and you are definitely Ronaldo. But the other three of you, I don't know who is who, and that's totally okay.
How do you definitely know it's me?
Oh.
Did I agree to something?
Well, I was paid to transport you all.
Huh.
Ronaldo and a number of companions to be determined, and the people that brought you on board said it would only be you and three. The sense I got is they probably wanted more. I don't know. Whenever you rich folks party and get drunk, I just do what I'm told.
Oh,
Ronaldo, this is your doing?
This is
what
not
did you do?
my doing.
Ronaldo, is this a surprise? Is my birthday's coming up?
Your birthday is coming up. This is not the surprise I was planning. It is weirdly close in theme, but it is not the surprise.
Well, then you are really on to something.
Okay, well then buckle up for 4 days from now.
4 days from now's the birthday, huh?
Yeah.
All right, I'll have the ship's mess prepare something for you.
Ooh, I hope it's a song.
That's nice.
Any chance a older gentleman also going by the name Ronaldo potentially okayed this contract? And did you have any sort of suspicious feelings when we were all sort of brought onto the ship, passed out? Was that one? Because I don't remember coming on the ship, and I remember most things, not everything, because drinking is fun.
Certainly not your
most
songs.
Things.
So
What?
to answer this question, we're going to go back in time a little bit. Ronaldo, you several days earlier had acquired evidence that your father, Ronaldo III, was heavily involved in a coup that would have toppled the government of Tower Town and installed some functionary from the Catavian Regency. So Tower Town is an independent city under the control of an archmage, and apparently you have evidence that your father was trying to undo those centuries of government and instead bring in a new government. So what did you do with that information? If anything.
I believe I told my closest associates, obviously the knights of our group specifically. I probably also clued in Erica, the bodyguard, my personal bodyguard. but I probably didn't tell anyone else because I hadn't yet figured out a plan for how to sabotage my father.
Right.
Quite yet.
You told kind of all your comrades here, Chauncey, Winnie, Raz, Jelly, Hazel, kind of, Gregory. And you also told some folks in the actual famed Knights of Prospect.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So let's cut to that meeting here. You met with the Knights of Prospect. Which knight in particular kind of took your petition? Was it? I'll give you a list of the Knights of Prospect you know, and it could be any of them, or someone new, your choice. Songstress Illyria, the Battle Bard, Thud Marek, the Pillar of Empire and Gregory's friend, Flum Tuber, the Diplomat, Scalvian, the Terror, the Wild Mage, or Spitzfoot, who is also kind of the top magical police in town.
I would probably imagine it would be top magical police, but I do bet Thud Marek had a strong opinion or two on the matter as well.
Yeah, so you ended up getting kind of Spitzfoot and Thud Marek for kind of a relatively clandestine meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at Etama. It was at the grand chapter house of the Knights of Prospect. None of you are Knights of Prospect, at least not until Winnie finishes her grand kind of heroic epic ballad. But you're kind of friends of the Knights, and you've worked with them such that you literally kind of knocked on the door and said, I don't know what to do. And they let you in. And now you're in a room with all three of them. Mm-hmm. Thud Marek is kind of quietly taking this all in, as she's wont to do. Thud Marek and Gregory kind of fought in a war together. And so usually when you see Thud Marek, it's with Gregory and you're all having a great time. But when Thud Marek's kind of engaged in her official duties as a Knight of Prospect, she's usually very quiet. So Spitzfoot is the one doing the talking. He's, kind of clad head to toe in like the kind of magical garb of his office. He's got like his silver helmet on the table. He's wearing these big, impressive mage's robes. There's like a staff resting against the table on the other side. So what proof do you have of your father's potential treachery?
Well, Archmage, our new old Archmage Akka, had us go into their house, their lair, whatever you want to call it. And there was a magical recording of exactly what I just described. You could look into this and you could probably, I'm sure, give it to some other Archmage for verification that this has not been tampered with, as well as 2 to 3 correspondences that were quite confidentially listed involving the involved parties. So it's pretty damning.
Do you have any of these with you now? Could I take a look?
Yes. I plopped them out.
So he looks at all of them. So the recording is kind of in this little sphere, which he rolls across the table to Thud Marek, who picks it up.
I don't really know scrying magic very well. I didn't know it could do this. I'm actually quite terrified that it can do this. But it can do this, it turns out. It
normally can't.
Oh. That's terrifying more then.
That was a trap. That is to say, whoever set up this scrying magic to record this conversation in that sphere likely suspected your father of this very treachery. My guess is you got all of this from Archmage Akka's house after we let you all out of jail.
Correct.
Yeah, for years and years and years, he thought it was either your family, the Mackays, or the Leclerc family that was trying to...
I don't trust them.
Well, all these years ago, I had a similar situation with Akka a similar conversation with Akka that I'm having with you now. I was pretty sure it was the Leclercs, given some of their overseas dealings. But, well, that sphere is fairly incontrovertible.
Well, can you be 100% frank with me? How much danger would I be in if my family found out that I knew this information and planned to do something with it?
Well, you know your family better than I do.
So a lot. Okay.
Now that I have this, as captain of the Silver Hands of Tower Town, I am obligated to act on this, though technically these items are in your possession, rather, and I've asked only to see them, not to take them. So technically, until you give these to me, I will be unable to act on them. If you are giving them to me, I'm going to send a battalion of battle mages to your father's house. I'm going to arrest him and your entire family for treason.
My entire family.
Every last one of them until we sort it out.
Including me?
Until we sort it out.
Oh.
I'm not going to put you in irons or anything, but
well, that's good. I just got out of irons.
Stay here while I and other Silver Helmets interview your family. Frankly, at this point, for your protection as much as anything else.
Can I have 24 hours?
You have 24 hours.
Okay.
Thudmeric kind of rolls the ball back to you. Spitzfoot kind of hands you the correspondences. Come back here in 24 hours and we'll draw up a plan to do this. You came to me with this. The sense I get from this is you were not involved. So
this is I was much too young when this seems to be had happening.
It has indeed been a busy 5 years.
But yeah. It's an interesting life I live. Well, if I'm missing in the night, this will be in my possession, or it will be in my chest of that should have a lock on it. You have my permission to break that lock open.
Noted. Thudmeric kind of leans back in her chair, kind of stares at the ceiling for a second. Have you told any of your comrades? Gregory, Chauncey, Winnie?
Oh, yeah. They were, a bunch of them were there. The ones that weren't were there. I haven't yet told my bodyguard. I probably will. But no one else in the family. She's on my payroll. Well, we'll see, I guess.
Noted. Well, I'll be here in a day. I'm going to check on Gregory.
All right.
Good luck, Ronaldo. We'll see you tomorrow. And
hope so.
Kind of recognizes the same. That was kind of the last conversation you remember having. You remember leaving Etama. You end up catching up with Erica, who was waiting outside since she is always there. You have a dinner, but now that you're thinking about it, you realize that the last memory you had of yesterday was deciding where to get dinner from. Huh. And then you woke up on this boat. And all of you, Chauncey, Winnie, Raz, all of you were kind of in the same place. You were kind of told this news by Ronaldo. I mean, some of you were there actually breaking into the Archmage's house where all this happened. But like Ronaldo spent a little time kind of really parsing all of this out. And so you're all kind of brought up to speed on it. It was kind of like a big official meeting of all of you. Even Hobie knew. So, but then that was like the morning. And then all of you kind of went about your business. I want each of you to roll 2d6 plus your wisdom. And anyone that gets above a 7 can describe one thing about a person that you all saw that day.
I got an 8.
I also got an 8.
10.
I also got an 8.
Well. We have a thread in this history. So tell me, each of you give me one piece of the description of someone that you kind of came in close contact with. It could either be someone you know or someone you don't over the course of the day. It was all the same person.
It's the baker down the street. He wasn't manning his shop, but he was crossed paths with me as we were going to our respective homes. He wore darker clothes than he usually does.
And he seemed... I bumped into him on the way back from this correspondence I just had, and he seemed quite friendly. He seemed ready to just chat me up. He had all sorts of opinions about local politics that were pretty much unrelated to what I was just talking about, and just seemed like upbeat.
Yeah.
Of note, but since we're halfway through, this baker, and especially Ronaldo, since you were the last person to chat about it.
Is it the same baker whose bakery I blew up?
Well, that's up to you. Ronaldo, was it in fact
the same
Jeff
baker
of Jeff's Croissants? Yes. Okay.
Jeff of Jeff's Croissants.
Jeff the baker, wearing dark clothes and in kind of Winnie's field of view for a time. And Ronaldo, you had a conversation with Jeff the baker about some pretty wild politics. Chauncey, let's add on to it here.
Yeah. So you guys know how there's that really great tree next to where Jeff's used to be. I would always climb that tree after a particularly intense mission, and usually Jeff would say, "Chauncey, you're gonna fall out of that tree." But that day, Jeff walked by the tree while I was trying to get up. I had grew like 3 inches just to reach it better. And he just looked at me, shook his head, said some weird words, and walked away.
I also ran into this baker. The baker is not a religious guy, but he stops by the church every week to drop off croissants that he wasn't able to sell because he appreciates the work that the church does. I kind of remember that particular conversation because the baker takes care of a pet rat, and I was asking him a lot of questions about the rat, and he was sort of evading them, and then he left.
He didn't want to talk about Ref?
He didn't want to talk about Ref.
Weird.
Yeah.
Did Ref die in the explosion?
He wouldn't answer any questions. I could have sworn he wasn't tearing up, but maybe he was, and he stormed out, and I chalked it up to him having a rough day, and I appreciated the croissants that he had brought, and I actually ate one, and it tasted delicious.
I also ate a croissant.
He also gave me a free croissant.
Yeah, when I got down from the tree, there was a croissant waiting, and I was like, I hope it's from Jeff's, and I ate it.
You ate croissants off the ground?
I mean, Jeff makes great croissants.
He does. I would eat his croissants off the ground.
I would eat his croissant all day.
The man's good with croissants. Yeah, so all of you realize, had this very strange, very precise interaction with Jeff. You determined this at some point today, but let's get back to that conversation with Captain O'Dull. Because you're on the boat, and so as I was saying, I had I was given payment in advance for your transport. I was told that all of you would be sleeping off a hangover, which was especially weird because you there don't look a day older than 11 or 12.
Oh, you're too kind.
And yeah, so there we are. Room below decks, 4 hammocks, all the way to Sarahand.
Odell, that's
Yes,
your name?
that is.
You've been tricked into kidnapping us. How does that make you feel?
I don't think I've been tricked into kidnapping anybody. I was handsomely paid.
Raise your hand if you were a willing participant in this transport. Pretty sure the definition of kidnapping is taking people somewhere that they do not want to go and have no knowledge of going.
Yeah, you need to turn this boat right around. I don't know how boats work. I don't know if that's possible, but you need to figure it out, buckaroo, because we are on the wrong boat and we need to go back right now.
Yeah, buckaroo.
Well, you do know our lingo, but unfortunately, I can't turn this boat around for a couple of reasons. Well, 3 I could think of. 1, I've got a hold full of cargo that needs to get to Sarahand. 2, the way that the wind and the tides work would make it effectively impossible for us to turn and make any good time back to Tower Town. And 3 is that. And he points behind the boat. That has been chasing us for about a day. We are faster than it. But if we turn around, it's going to get us. Well, gang, what is that? Anyone with a good idea shout it out.
It's purple. That's for sure.
Very
It's got.
bold. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Chauncey.
Okay. Yeah. It's purple. It's very. The bulbous comes to mind. Lots of round parts sticking out from the water.
Mm-hmm. And one in the center of all these bulbous matters is one giant white eye ball.
Oh, and on each of these bulbous appendages that it has, it almost looks like it's pushing itself along like through the water. That's very unsettling because you figure if it's a fish it would have fins, but it seems like it's swimming doggy style, like doggy paddling all the way through.
So as you can see, that Kraken's been on us for a while, and normally it would tire itself out after a few days, but it's only been on us for 1 turn of the hourglass. So if we turn, I lose my ship, and I've spent my life saving up to buy this ship, and I have no intention of losing it.
All right, well, we have to kill that weird squid, everybody, I think.
Okay, so we're going to fight it. Oh, what's that, Winnie?
I was just going to say, is a short boat trip, how long does it take to get there?
Oh, to Sarahand? Let me show you. Come with me to the map room. Cutlass, you're on the wheel. Yeah, and so Captain O'Dull takes you down to kind of the dining room of the ship, which is where the maps are, and lays one out, and you see this beautiful, with soundings and stuff, hyper-detailed map of the Bay of Enteresh and the open ocean to the south, and, you know, Freeman's Empire and all of these faraway places past Vor and...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and he points to Sarahand. Sarahand, he says, well, if the tides are right and we keep the weather gauge, I expect us to be in the port of Sarahand's capital in 27 days.
Okay, that's we need to turn around.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm sort of in for a little 27-day sea adventure.
Well, I am 100% not. I am emotionally in for a 27-day sea adventure, but I am my work schedule's real tight right now because my father is a criminal and he has essentially forced this seemingly upstanding citizen of a shipmaster to kidnap us. So we need to figure out a way to turn around.
Ronaldo, what better way to seek vengeance than to start your own criminal empire in a new city and return with a giant armada and take back your family name?
I am
Pretty
so
great
torn.
idea.
That does sound fun, but like more.
It sounds like it would be an amazing song. And
Mhm.
my heart is very much for sea adventure. But there's a little part of me that thinks, why were we secreted out of the city, and what is going to happen in our absence?
Oh, I like all these. This is so difficult. You know, I always in these situations seek to compromise. So, but on one hand, we could be pirates for a month.
That's
on the other
27
hand-
days there, not round trip. It would be a whole other month to get back.
Okay, well that's a lot of pirating, which also sounds great. On the other hand, I guess that we were kidnapped and shipped away, and I guess that some bad things might happen if I wasn't there to save everyone.
If we weren't there, Chauncey.
That's right. I wonder, what do you guys think about like writing this out for like, I don't know, like a week, so that we get to be pirates, and then we defeat the Kraken, or it gets tired, and then we turn around.
I'd hate to interrupt this debate.
Yes, Captain?
But at no point am I turning this ship around. Even if the Kraken is gone, I have cargo to haul. And while I admit that I am gaining an increasing understanding of my surprising participation in a kidnapping, the fact of the matter is I cannot turn this ship around. I have tremendous amounts of cargo, and if it's not delivered to Sarahand, I'm going to lose a fortune. Rest assured, this will be an incredibly comfortable trip, and if you want to get to Sarahand, then the incredibly amazing and exotic things you will see there will assuredly make it worth your trip.
Do you
Chauncey?
have Go ahead, Winnie.
I was just gonna ask, Chauncey, are you a good swimmer?
Personally, not great, but I can like.
Can you only
No.
make yourself very big?
I made Greg a really big once. But I don't know. I could try to make a bunch of people really big.
Or could you make something really big very small so it's easy to defeat?
So your plan seems to be, Ronaldo, to reduce the Kraken to a very small size, but the captain has already said he won't turn around under any circumstances. What I'm thinking is Riverboy over here is a very good swimmer, and if he was very large, we could all climb onto his back, and he could maybe outswim the Kraken back to town.
You want to ride Raz back home?
I don't know. Is that a crazy idea? Is that dumb?
It's not any dumber than my idea, which is make the Kraken small, steal a lifeboat, and paddle back to shore.
What if if we make you really big, then you could fist fight the Kraken?
Now that's a plan I'm into.
But also, Captain, I am so sorry. I don't mean to be not listening to what you said. I appreciate how clearly you are communicating your wants and needs. But it sounds like we have come to the consensus that we will probably be defeating the Kraken and turning your boat around seemingly by force.
I really considered buying all the cargo at double the price, but it seems like it's not worth it if he's not going to turn around. That would have been so convenient for him, right? But,
that would be if he was monetarily compensated.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go fight a Kraken. Yeah?
Before you do, you mentioned something about taking the ship by force?
No.
Oh, no.
Taking the Kraken by force and then swimming back to shore on a giant raspberry, glowberry, snowberry. That's him, by the way.
Perhaps some compensation was coming his way? Was that?
Oh, but he doesn't want to be paid twice as much for precious cargo.
I mean, we're just going to
He's an honorable seaman.
Yeah, we're going to make Raz huge, potentially damage the ship in the process. But
I feel like some things we're saying are helping, and some things we're saying are not helping.
All right.
That's how I talk most of the time. So.
Here's how this is gonna work. One of you, dealer's choice, needs to make a charisma roll. Because of the melange of exciting ideas you have laid out in front of the captain, one of three circumstances are going to happen. One, this room is going to fill with sailors that are going to try to knock you all unconscious. Two, you will be given the right to fight the Kraken and then be lowered overboard in a rowboat. Or three, this ship turns around. Depending on the
Winnie,
level
or do you
of
want me to
success.
do it?
Pooh, what if we teamed together?
All right. I'll roll one dice, you roll the other. I think we both have +1 charisma, so let's find out what happens.
Yeah, sure. Each
Right,
of you roll a die.
that.
We're going to add 1 to it and go from there.
All right. 6.
6!
Hey!
Well, I'll be damned.
Teamwork
Okay.
makes the dream work. I start to burst in the song.
They're so charming.
So you lay. So how do you? How exact? So obviously you've been kidnapped against your will. Captain O'Dull feels bad about that. But what do you appeal to aside from just like we've been kidnapped to get him to turn this ship around and directly engage a Kraken with some wild magic?
I think that there's really only one thing that Ronaldo and I could do together that would appeal to the sensibilities of the captain, and that is to sing a song about him.
About how rich he's about to be.
About how rich he's about to be if he turns this boat around and lets Ronaldo pay him twice for all of his wares. Which
is totally a bold-faced lie through my teeth, but he doesn't know that yet.
Ronaldo, would you like to take the first verse?
No, I insist.
Oh.
I conjure 2 more illusory hats, one on Ronaldo, one on Wendy. They both get illusory cutlasses and captain outfits.
Now, as you can see by this very expensive-looking mandolin that you stole me away with, that I definitely didn't steal, I bought with all of my money that I have. We are not lying. 1, 2, 3, 4...
Imagine a man, imagine a man, imagine a man that is the captain of a ship. Imagine a man, imagine a man, imagine a man. He is very, very rich. Imagine this man. He goes back to town. He takes all his money and puts it in the bank. He gets a big house. He gets a nice wife or husband, depending on what his preferences are. And then he lives a cozy life on a ship.
He's hailed as a hero. He defeated a Kraken, a really weird Kraken, and he got some money. He has some supplies that he can sell again to another person or whatever. That is you.
You. That was a 12 roll song.
Captain O'Dull takes this all in, and
we could sing this from is an optional charge. Sing this throughout the land if you wish. We are quite famous bards.
I'm writing an album.
Several.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a concept album.
He puts his hands down on the table with the map and kind of puts his head down. You can't see his face because of the wide brim of his magnificent hat. And after a moment or two, you see a couple of droplets hit the map, and he looks up. His eyes are red with tears, and he says, "Yes, this will be the moment that Captain O'Dull and his new brave companions take down this Kraken. This song will echo through eternity.
Huzzah!
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 And so, battle plans are now drawn up. There is a montage of activity. The big plan, of course, is for Raz to grow to monstrous size, jump into the water, and fight the Kraken. The ship, which this ship has Captain O'Dull. We know and love Captain O'Dull now. What is a cool name for his ship?
The Silver Lining.
He's so positive.
So essentially, what's going to happen is the Silver Lining is going to make the turn, and the Silver Lining doesn't really have much in terms of armament. It's built to haul a lot of cargo and kind of defend itself. But what it has is this thing on the back of it called a rotary scorpion, which is essentially a crossbow the size of a small house.
Whoa.
And so the plan is essentially for Raz to kind of weigh into the water and do this stuff. With the Silver Lining and its rotary giant crossbow, they're in reserve in case things go south. That's as close to a plan as he's willing to do. Captain O'Dull, as part of this kind of montage of preparation, gives this like this fiery speech about chiseling your name into the granite of eternity, and how this Kraken would invariably sink smaller and weaker ships, and it's up to the Silver Lining to redeem to redeem the future of all of these ships that would be Kraken food and all.
I assist him with some bardic magic, huzzahing.
Yeah,
power his speech.
I write his name in the sky.
He grows in size, figuratively, presumably, though with Chauncey, who knows? With all of this kind of magical accompaniment, the crew is whipped into a froth that is so rich that the literal years they've spent training to outrun Krakens kind of goes out the window here. So here's the trick, though. The second Raz starts to grow, this ship needs to turn. Because as Raz grows, Raz is going to need to get off this ship. So, in essence, you're kind of committing to this. So if this grow spell does not work,
pshaw,
things are going to get weird.
I also want to teach Raz, as someone who can commune with fish, a little fish ditty that has been known to calm even the most temperamental of sea creatures. It goes, here, little fishy, here, little fishy, shh, little fishy, here, little fishy. That's it.
Okay, I think I got
it. But it resonates at the exact right frequency.
So
fishy.
The way this works, Raz, is Winnie has granted you a boon that you can add +2 to one roll. And so you have that in the bank.
Okay.
So Chauncey, this Kraken is, it's kind of tough to gauge its size. But one thing you know about this magic is that probably 100 feet is as big as you could safely grow someone that's not you. That's probably going to be big enough to fight a Kraken. It would be like, a human at that point fighting a really large dog with tentacles and a single giant eye, but that's about the size. So that's probably the number you need to aim for. So we're going to cast this spell here. What I need you to do is tell me, if Raz can't get to exactly 100 feet, would you rather him be bigger or smaller?
I feel like bigger.
Awesome. All right. So here's how this is going to work.
Bigger sounds better. Yeah.
Always does. Chauncey, you are going to roll your cast a spell for grow. You are not going to tell me the result until I describe how exactly this happens. So, you kind of prepare, Chauncey. You're on the deck. Ronaldo, Winnie, you're both there, kind of ready to assist. the whole crew has given you a wide berth.
Stand back.
You've got all these topsmen in the sails preparing to like let out the sails and kind of spin the jibs and like quick swing this ship around.
I just want to know, Raz, how are you feeling in this exact moment?
I am filled with so much courage right now. Having seen Levin run down that tunnel a few days ago, I am ready for this.
Yeah. So, Raz, you're kind of there. You're ready. Are you going to be fighting with your mitts, or do you have I think you carry a weapon with you here. I think you have a big mace. So you take that with you?
Yep, I have a spell in mind.
Awesome. So, so here's how it's going to work. Chauncey, did you make the roll?
Go as I cast the spell. I haven't. It doesn't do. I take out my new book of angels and I just say, "Calling all angels, help!"
All angels.
Oh, that sounds really good. You should write that.
And as Chauncey's kind of casting this, Captain O'Dull screams, "Now, hard starboard, everyone!" And the ship starts swinging. Cutlass is on the big rotary crossbow, is back there, like with people like loading giant crossbow bolts the size of spears into it.
Putting a ton of bolts in there.
And you are now committed. Chauncey, what did you get?
9.
Okay. So Raz, you start growing. You start growing real big and real fast and very unevenly, but you are growing. At this point, the ship is starting to tip under your weight, so this is when you jump overboard. You kind of splash into the water, and you're still growing, and you fill up your lungs to stay buoyant, and you have this mace in your hand, and you were aiming, Chauncey, for about 100 feet.
Yep.
But you kind of overshot it here. And Raz, you don't know how big you've gotten here. But one thing you do know for sure is you don't need to swim. Your feet are touching the bottom of the ocean.
Pretty good.
It is sandy down there and warm. Surprising.
The Kraken kind of emerges. It's now approaching. You were hoping that it would look real small. It does not. It's like the size of a tentacled wolf, and it's now kind of lashing and whipping its way through the water at you, Raz. So, Raz, you're about to do battle with a giant sea creature that's capable of pulling ships down. So, what are you going to do?
I'm going to start by casting a spell, which is Contagion.
Oh, perfect. Sure. What disease would you like to afflict the Kraken with?
I would like to afflict it with hemophilia.
Love it. So I'm going to put a -1 on this because you've never cast this spell on. You've never cast Contagion on something that wasn't human, but you think it'll work. You know it has blood in it, so. Roll.
Winnie, I bet he takes he just like punches this
Right.
Kraken.
9.
All right, awesome. So I'm going to say that that's a partial success, so it definitely happens. I'm going to say that you're going to take -1 on future spells because this was a pretty big ask of Enteresh. But yeah, okay, so this Kraken is like approaching. It starts like wrapping its tentacles around your arm. How does the casting of this spell look?
I look up to the sky. I shout, Enteresh, fill the body of this Kraken with the disease of hemophilia.
What?
Wow.
The loud, resonant, thunderous tone of Raz's voice literally cracks a glass porthole on this ship. Yes, a burst, this impossible burst of holy energy, Raz, kind of pours into your arms and into the tentacles of this Kraken. and it makes this horrible guttural noise and screeches loudly and does kind of damage scales up here. Normally, Raz, you have 18 hit points. You now have 180 hit points.
Whoa!
But it also does 50 damage to you.
Whoa!
So
I drop all my other illusions and give Raz the biggest hat the world has ever seen. It says Big Raz on it.
Awesome. So, Raz, you cast a spell. Chauncey, you cast a spell. You don't even need to roll. It passes. It's perfect.
Yes.
Boom. A hat large enough to block the sun and put the silver lining in under midnight darkness now appears on Raz's head. Ronaldo, Winnie, what do either of you want to do here? Also, one of you can, if you want to play as Cutlass and fire the crossbow, always feel free to do that if you don't have an idea about what you want to do.
I would like to try and perform a sick burn on this Kraken.
Get him, Ronaldo!
Yeah, let's use the magical power of bardic insult on it. So roll.
Okay. I'm going to say the insult and then I'm going to roll.
Yeah,
hey,
perfect.
Hey, Kraken! The only thing Kraken is going to be your skull, you weird fish monster!
I'm sorry, what was that?
4!
Okay. The situation on the ship gets immediately dire. The Kraken releases this awful kind of bleeding screech. A couple of the crew members immediately grab their ears and hit the deck. It is immediately followed by a jet of black ink that then kind of slicks the entire surface of the deck of the silver lining, causing much chaos, people falling down, sliding. At least one person goes overboard.
I think I've offended the Kraken.
Winnie, you're up.
I would like to attempt metal hurlant, and the noise I would like to make is an exact imitation of the noise that the Kraken just made.
Absolutely.
It went something like...
It's not helping.
That's the one.
It's in stereo now.
Okay. So you do that. The Kraken responds by wrapping one of its tentacles around the wheel and main mast of the ship and rips them both off. Meaning that the ship now cannot steer and lost its biggest sail. Also, several other sailors arc through the air into the water.
Sorry.
Raz, you're up. What would you like to do?
Get him, Big Raz!
Okay,
Yes,
it's time
remember
to
the
get
song that I taught
physical.
you?
Pull out his eye.
I am going to walk up to him and take two of the legs and tear them off the sides.
All right. Hack and slash, you're going to get +3 to this roll due to your truly enormous size.
Grab and pull.
Oof. 5 + 3, 8.
Okay. The Kraken gives as good as it gets. You kind of grab this thing and start tearing it apart, but it's got some stretch to it. Its other tentacles wrap around your chest, and its mix of eye and mouth, because its giant eye is surrounded by teeth for some reason, sink into your chest, doing another 50 damage to you. But at the end of it, you end up kind of ripping off a couple of its tentacles, and it starts bleeding this kind of horrifying black blood into the ocean. And when it's hitting the ocean, it starts to bubble. And around this moment, Raz, you hear in like a tiny little voice, "Raz, to your left!" And you kind of move to the left just as like a giant crossbow bolt like smashes through the side of the Kraken. Winnie, Ronaldo, you're both like covered in ink, and you look at the back of the ship, and like Cutlass is like loading in another giant bolt. Chauncey, your turn. What do you want to do?
I would like to fight this monster with a monster of my own.
Ooh, what are you going to summon?
The Kraken is cut and bleeding, correct?
That it is. Bleeding very profusely, in fact, as if it cannot clot.
I would like to look at the where the beast is injured, and upon that injury, I will summon a maggoty beast that trails into its wounds.
Swarm of maggots, you got it. Roll to cast the spell.
I take out my angel book and go, sorry!
Angel maggots.
7.
Okay. So I'm going to say that you are going, well, dealer's choice here. No, I'm the dealer today. You are going to draw unwelcome attention or put yourself in a tight spot. So you start getting close. Like you get up right up to the rail and start casting.
Gross.
And from your hand kind of arcs like a fire hose, a jet of multi-legged white and gray maggots making this awful chittering sound, and you're firing a stream of these into the open wounds of this gigantic Kraken. Ronaldo and Winnie, this is arguably the most unsettling thing that you have seen in maybe your lives. Who knows?
Weirdest
really
thing Johnny's ever done.
Yeah.
Get him, Sir Vomit.
And so Sir Vomit, the semi-sentient army of maggots, begins doing its horrible, monstrous business. The unwelcome attention is one of the Kraken's remaining tentacles, Chauncey, wraps itself around your waist and plucks you off the ship. So now you are kind of whipping through the air as the maggots are chewing its way into the Kraken. Ronaldo, you're up. What do you want to do?
Is the Kraken's the arm close to the ship, or would I have to shoot it with the Squidinator or whatever it is, the giant crossbow?
One of the tentacles is now wrapped around the railing of the ship. That was the tentacle that pulled the mainmast out of the ship like a ripe carrot.
I mean, specifically the one that has Chauncey.
Oh, the one that has Chauncey. Yeah, you're probably going to need to shoot a crossbow at it because this thing is now whipping through the air.
All right. I would like to try and use my ability. I'm just going to try and shoot a tentacle out of the air, cutting it in half to free Chauncey. Hopefully using my ability, Manual of Movement, to study its movement and help fire. Either me firing it or Cutlass firing
it. For dramatic effect, I think it's going to be you.
All right, I got
So,
it.
you run over, Cutlass kind of gets off, hands it to you, and is now ordering other people to put out a fire that has started at the beginning of the ship. I'm going to give you a +1 to this volley roll because you're very good at kind of timing out movement.
And 10.
Okay.
Let's go.
You fire this thing. It's like a javelin, and it arcs through the air and slices right through the middle of this tentacle about 10 feet below where Chauncey is. This is a 1 in a million shot. Woo! The tentacle kind of whips wildly, and Chauncey, you are tossed high into the air, but you are free of its grip.
You see that, Phil? I'm better than you now. I miss you.
You are currently falling, Chauncey, into the ocean. Winnie, it's your turn.
Okay. After taking a deep breath, clearing my throat, and composing myself a little bit, I think at a second try, I can really nail that Kraken cry impression and freak him out.
Absolutely. Go for it.
Oh, God.
7.
Okay. We've got good news and bad news, and I think I am going to get them all together into a kind of single montage here. So, Winnie, you kind of plant your feet. You get ready. You kind of go with the pitch and roll of the ship and wait until you feel the bardic energy kind of swell up. And that's when you release kind of the Kraken screech. It deafens everybody that hears it. Raz, you hear this buffeting wave of anguished magical energy kind of smash you in the back of the head and fill up your ears. You are deafened. There is blood pouring out of your ears. The Kraken somehow got it worse. Its eye explodes. Oh. And at that point, you kind of punch right into the middle of it. You feel horrifyingly inside after you punch the thing, maggots starting to attack your hands. You pull that out. You end up picking this thing high into the air and kind of throwing it. Ronaldo, you are on the rotary scorpion and you're just firing shots into it as it flips through the air like the world's largest, most disturbing piñata. Raz, you then you reach down and kind of grab Chauncey right before he hits the water. And then everybody on the ship starts throwing ropes and catching people and bringing them up. And at the end of it all, the Silver Lining, its brave crew, and its brave kidnapped guests have taken down the scourge of the Bay of Enteresh, the mighty Violet Kraken.
We can't turn around, can't we? The Kraken destroyed the thing that lets us turn around.
But Raz is really big.
I can carry you back to shore if I so chose to.
Raz, this is just like Enteresh, right? This is just like the story you say about Enteresh where he walks, right? Doesn't he
across the water?
Sure.
Yes, but he walked on to further adventure.
Man. Let's cut to the great ocularium at the top of the Arcane College in Tower Town. Actually, the person currently manning the ocularium is Ron Tomdell, Chauncey's brother, who is taking a class on how to use oculariums. So
I nod my hat.
He's standing there looking at this giant view screen at the top of the mighty spire of Tower Town, staring out at the ocean. And coming through the haze in the distance is a figure, a massive figure, walking forward, dragging behind him a boat. Ron Tomdell doesn't know what to do, but there's essentially the magical equivalent of a big red button, and so he hits that. And so the grand total of the battle mages of the Arcane College, the militia defense force of Tower Town, run to rooftops, attend their battlements. The citizens of Tower Town climb onto the thatched roofs of their cottages to watch. And so the entirety of the city of Tower Town see Raz, the cleric who defied death, carrying a broken ship full of Kraken killers back into the city.
We're back!
We'll end it right there.
Oh, boy.
Woo! A little wild ride.
Wow.
Forbidden growth magic. Always a fun time.
There's never not a good time to use it.
It's always just useful. It's a great way.
Works.
You know,
great way to destroy things.
We're all competent, but we're even better when we're about 300 times our normal size.
Yeah, it just makes life a little easier, you know?
I just want people to feel confident. That's all I want.
This is part of Chauncey's long game of just boosting everyone's self-esteem.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of self-esteem, you have certainly made all of our days, audience, by tuning in and watching and listening to Knights of Prospect. We are here on 2MB Studios, and we love to be here every Saturday night at 8 o'clock. But there are many things to love about 2MB Studios. For instance, they have amazing shows 7 days a week, from game shows to role-playing to video game live plays to an entire fictional wrestling league that I strongly recommend. If you want to watch it, 2MB Studios is where. If you love Knights of Prospect and want to see all of our previous adventures, this was episode 21. If you want to see the first 20, find us on YouTube, look up Knights of Prospect, and also follow us on Facebook, Knights of Prospect there as well. It was a pleasure, as always, to grow just large enough to fill your hearts with joy. So thank you, audience, and we will see you next Saturday.
Thank you.
Bye.